You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I don't know about this one because this could seriously get me in trouble. No, not that way. I do that on my own. National Personal Chef Day. So, if I had a personal chef, I wonder if I'd be 100 pounds lighter. Just throw that out there for you. Not if you go with today being corn fritters day. See, I went off script, Josh. I was thinking about apple fritters, and this is corn fritters. I don't know. Can we go back to apple fritters? What's your favorite? You prefer an apple fritter or a corn fritter? Fry up a batch of these crispy, beautiful bites of corn and batter. Fresh corn, and the celebration will even. So fresh corn. I love fresh corn. Although, and I digress. So my idea of fresh corn, best I've ever had. So I don't know if Josh, I don't know if you've ever done this one. This was a lot of fun. So we went down to Salt Creek, I think in Laguna area, just past Laguna. And we had one of those beer thingies that you throw the beers in with all the ice and whatnot. Well, I went out on the water in the ocean and filled it up with water. Not hard to find, right? Put it over a fire pit and bring it to a boil. Throw the ears of corn right in there, husk and all. Talk about good corn because it's got. Well, I hope it wasn't bad water, but we have the husk on there, so I guess it's okay. But then you have the whole table of all the stuff to put on the corn. You got butter, and you got cheese, and you got. Some people like cayenne pepper and tahini or whatever, and I just like the cheese and the butter. And how'd we get on that topic from corn fritters? Okay, I guess I'm off topic again. Let's see what the markets are doing. Dichotomy here. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 547 points. S&P 500 is up 20, but the NASDAQ is down 2.78. What is that telling us? Well, it's the big seven, the magnificent seven. Those are not carrying the market today, apparently. We've got other stocks because if you look, and the NASDAQ is down, that means that Apple, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, those are not the ones driving. The Dow is at 553 points up. I know I heard earlier this morning United Health was doing a big number on it. A few others that announced their earnings. I guess that's where we're coming from. Oil down $1.02 a barrel. We haven't looked at the gas prices lately. $4.75 a gallon here in the formerly Golden State. I had dinner with a friend yesterday. They said they paid $2.98 in South Dakota in the last week. $2.98. And we're at $4.76. Josh is just over $4 over there in Nevada. Although we've already talked about it, you have to take $0.50 off to get the real price for Josh. So you're like $3.50, Josh. Is that about right? Okay, well, I paid $4.20, I think, yesterday for regular unleaded over at Costco. Best pricing in the land right now on an average. Mississippi, $3 a gallon of gasoline. It just, it ticks me off when we're paying so much here in California, because we've got the most populous state. What that should mean is that we should be able to generate revenue because of the amount of people here instead of having high prices on these things. And yet our politicians just keep on sticking it to the people. And they claim that it's the corporations that are doing it. No, it's Sacramento that's doing it. Think about that. I mean, you look all over the country at gas prices, and there's only a handful of states that are anywhere near us. Nevada, $4. Washington, $4.28 a gallon. Even Illinois, I mean, they're as liberal as we are, $3.85. I don't think there's any other state. Well, Hawaii, they're at $4.69, cheaper than we are in California. So there's very few. I think this looks like four states that are over $4 a gallon on average. And our governor says, well, it's the oil companies. What's the difference between the oil companies with California and every other state? Well, regulation, maybe, taxes, fees. Do you think those could be the issue? Well, we just have to realize that either we like the prices the way they are, or we need to change who we vote for. Pretty simple. I mean, it's not rocket science here. And I heard this morning that Chicken Schiff, he's running for Senate against Steve Garvey. Chicken Schiff is saying that if they keep Biden on the ticket, they're certainly going to lose. What a shame. And it might be the first thing that Chicken Schiff has ever said that I agree with. Because that guy, he doesn't even, if you told him that it's Tuesday, he would probably lie to you and say, no, it's really not. It's actually Thursday. So it starts with a T. I mean, that guy doesn't know the truth if it ever hit him in the head, in my opinion. But it's just crazy watching these things. Retail sales flat due to lower gas prices and automotive cyber attacks, maybe. Watching all of that. Now, we know that the retail sales are flat, but there's a lot going on here that is not looking pretty when it comes to the economy. And I will share with you that I put out a report this morning that we talked about a lot of these different things. If you ever want to get our market report as early as as the data allows, rsrmarketminute.com, we put out the report and we talk about the Empire Manufacturing Index in today's report. What is the Empire Manufacturing Index? Well, it goes and looks at what's going on in the Empire report. That's New York. And something, it's the economic picture based on this is not pretty. Maybe Jerome Powell will get a clue on this, and maybe we'll get a rate cut sooner than later. I did notice the markets now are predicting a rate cut with 100% certainty, and that can change in September. But they do have a July meeting. So maybe we'll get a little bit of better numbers out there. But the economic outlook in every area is showing contraction from coming out of the Empire State Manufacturing Survey. The economic health is negative. It's a little bit better than it was, but it's still negative. Eight consecutive months of decline. It's kind of like in past Great Recession. Apparently, it was about the last time we saw something like this. So it's not good, but we continue to watch it for you. Maybe Jerome Powell will see that and realize we don't need to get all the way to 2% inflation for him to start looking and saying, I think we can correct this report here. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, how to determine if you're ready to buy a house, ways a car loan can increase your FICO score. And we're going to talk a little bit about Borrow Smart, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com /Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trust. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OPMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or APR. They tell us the number to put into your mortgage calculator so you can find out what your principal and interest payment will be each month for that loan. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, ronismylender.com. Ronismylender.com. Great mortgage calculator right there. What did the rates do yesterday? Well, 30-year conforming rates down just a little bit, 6.756. The 30-year jumbo loans up 7.18. 30-year FHA loans down 6.583. 30-year USDA loan 6.697. That was up quite a bit. And the VA loan 6.352. Best loan on the market for our veterans with no money down. That is an option on there if you qualify. There are some instances where maybe you want to put some money down, but let's start looking at that. We want to keep track of that one because we're starting to get into the area where if you got a veterans loan, a VA loan in the last 18 months, might be looking for the interest rate reduction loan. That is one part of the veterans program. And again, if you want to get our market commentary, we do put that out each morning as early as the data allows, rsrmarketminute.com. S&P 500 now up 15.99. The 10-year Treasury down 4 basis points. It's been jumping around this morning. That is, a yield is down 4 basis points. The 30-year mortgage bond, that's up 6 basis points. The bond is up, which means interest rate is down, but it's only 6 basis points, so it's not going to even be 1/8 of a point in interest. So don't worry about that one too much. What is driving all of this? That's what we're here to talk about, because all those numbers, you can get that on the super secret website, google.com. So let's take a look and see Jerome Powell speech at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. So he was chatting. Fed's not going to wait for inflation to get to 2% before cutting rates, but rather they're going to cut when they are confident that inflation is heading to their 2% goal. And Powell said yesterday that the last 3 inflation readings have given him more confidence. Powell also brought up the employment side of their mandate and how he is watching that closely. If there is unexpected weakness in the labor market, that could lead to a rate cut as well. He also talked about the economy slowing and likely growing at 1.5%, but almost dismissed a hard landing or recession, saying that it's not the most likely scenario. We're already there, Jerome. Sorry. When asked what keeps him up at night, he said it's cutting too soon and inflation coming back versus cutting too late and causing recession. Bottom line, he sounded more dovish and like someone who wants to cut rates. He seemed more confident with the inflation data than we've previously heard. We also heard from San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly, who was a voting member this year. She said that confidence is growing, that inflation is heading to 2%, but she needs a lot more information before making any real determination. Remember that next week we're going to be getting some very important news, including the QCEW Q4 job revisions. That's where the real jobs numbers come from, not from the BS report that we get out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. June core PCE reading, we're going to get that one as well, which is expected to fall from 2.6 to 2.4. If we see much weaker than expected job growth confirmed in Q4 and 2.4% core inflation, I think that might be the information that Mary Daly is looking for. Retail sales for the month of June were unchanged at 0%, which was weak and in line with expectations. However, the reading was revised higher from 0.1% to 0.3%, but it makes today's report stronger. Additionally, the headline reading was dragged down by weak automobile and gasoline sales. Core reading, which gets plugged into GDP, rose 0.9%, which was much stronger than estimates and will likely lead to some higher GDP revisions. According to Peter Bookvar, bottom line, I've gone through countless consumer-touching earnings conference calls over the past few months and provided you with all that I have found important. And the only portion of consumer spending that is doing well comes from the higher end. The lower to middle income consumer is stretched, extremely value conscious, and focused on needs and not wants. Thus, not reading today's data is evidence of a strong consumer, unquote. That's from Peter Bookvar. So the consumer having problems, we better be careful. Cass Freight, in contrast to the retail sales report, we saw a weak Cass Freight index June release. Goods need to be shipped across the U.S. to be sold, and the shipments components of the Cass Freight report fell 1.8% in June to a 4-year low. Shows less economic activity and a slowing economy. And as we've talked about before, the consumer needs education. The latest Fannie Mae study showed that most consumers don't know how much they need for a down payment. We know that. Have you looked at the results from our FHIQ quiz? You can take that rsrlinks.com/FHIQ to see what consumers know about the finance. rsrlinks.com/FHIQ. It's free. It only takes a couple of minutes, maybe less than that. Only 10% know you can buy a house with 5% down or less. That's with all of consumers. Only 10% know you can buy with 5% less. But even those actively shopping for a home, only 1 in 7 or 14% know that you can buy a home with 5% down or less. Median amount of people think you need 15 to 20%. We've talked about that one before. You do not need 15 to 20%. That's a myth. So why are people still thinking that? Well, it's kind of scary, but it is what it is. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. It's brought to you by RonIsMyLender.com. Go check that out. Get the mobile app and give us a call. Let's talk about what some of these issues are. And I'm gonna probably give you a couple. Josh, we'll go a little long. Let's do a little bit of Borrow Smart right now. Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com. rsrhomeselect.com. So let's ask a couple of questions here to see where your thinking might be. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, the ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 video feeds, you can just go ahead and answer the questions right in the chat. If you're listening to us on radio, yell at the radio. We hear you. We know that. So, a large down payment will save me more money than a small down payment. True or false? And I'm not going to go and give you all of it right here, but I'm going to tell you. How about a 15-year mortgage will save me more money over time than a 30-year mortgage? What do you think on that one? Making an extra principal payment saves me money. What are your thoughts? Last question. The interest rate is the main factor determining the cost of my mortgage. True or false? Well, I'm going to tell you that the vast majority of people think about this in a interesting way, because what's the most important question that we hear? The top 3 things we always hear about when you're talking about real estate. What's the most important part? Have you ever heard somebody say location, location, location? Well, most people have. But I'm going to tell you something. Let's think a little differently here on Ron Siegel Radio. How about location, location, location of your money? What do you think about that one? That's a little bit different. No one talks about that part of it. Location, location of your money. We talk about the location, location of the property. But what if you're making the payments the wrong way? 37% of American assets are real estate. 25% of Americans' wealth is inside their house. 27% of American debt is a high rate, not tax preferred. What does all that mean? Well, when you think about it, I hear so many people right now. I mean, we know that 70% of the folks with a mortgage have a mortgage rate below 4%. Yet I hear folks, and we go back to the questions that I posed earlier, when we look at those questions and we say about making an extra principal payment saves me money. Well, does it really? If you're going out there and you can borrow at 4, 3, 2.5, whatever it is, and it's tax advantaged on your house, and you're making an extra payment there, yet you've got a credit cards at 22.8%. Does that make any sense to you? Well, Ron, I want to get my house paid off. Well, if you quit paying so much interest, don't you think you could get your house paid off sooner? Do you think that would work? Now, a lot of people don't look at it that way. They just look at it, I want to get my house paid off. Well, let's think about borrow smart, repay smart. So think about some of those numbers. Now, the question here is, how might managing your liabilities help increase your assets? Managing liabilities increases assets? Well, we know that, right now about 52% of the people have all of their committed to their expenses. They've got committed expenses. They can't change them. They're not variable. That would be taxes. That would be your mortgage or your rent. That would be your insurance and auto payments, or, car payments and whatnot. So we know that that's 48%. 46% goes for your lifestyle today. That's discretionary. And 2% is going to your lifestyle tomorrow. What's that mean, lifestyle tomorrow? Well, lifestyle tomorrow is your retirement fund. So you're saying, okay, I'm going to save 2% of my income today for my lifestyle tomorrow. And why am I only saving that? Well, here's the issue. The reason you're saving 2% is because that's all that's left over. When you take that the 52 and the 46, well, all you've got left is 2%. Now, what happens if we go and look at your liabilities strategically? If we look at those liabilities strategically and say, what if we can cut down on the committed expenses by 4%? That would mean either doing a debt consolidation loan. We've talked about that many, many times on Ron Siegel Radio. And we've talked about that, how 3% is killing you. RSR3PCTloan.com. RSR3PCTloan.com. That 3% loan is killing you. Why? Because you haven't looked at what your total household debt service cost is. And that's called the blended household interest rate. We want to know what your blended household interest rate is, because if we can just save you on average $250 a month, we can end up taking and bringing those committed expenses down by 4%. What do we do with that? Well, if you're happy there at 46, we move those 4% down to your lifestyle tomorrow column. And that is a 300% gain on that lifestyle tomorrow, on your savings for tomorrow. So why are we not doing that? Why are we having to argue with people? Or why are we not getting through to people that the bottom line is we really want you to understand that the debt consolidation loan is really in your best interest. It's not because we lead a lending team and we want to do a loan. Yes, we do that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's how we make money, is by doing loans. But I've told people, in fact, I just told somebody last week, you don't need a new loan. You've got the law is on your side because it happened to be an estate situation. And they thought they had to refinance the loan in order to keep it. I said, no, keep the exact loan you have. You're in perfect situation. So we're not doing it haphazardly. We do it strategically. That's why as a certified liability advisor, we're looking at, does it make sense to do a debt consolidation loan? Do you have enough equity in your property to do the debt consolidation loan? Could we possibly restructure everything and put you into our favorite loan, the Home Select, rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Why do I like that so much? We look at how much you can afford. If we pay off all of your other debts, use some of your household income on that, as far as your income to pay off those debts, you put the money into the Home Select program, and you've got a big time savings. Why? Well, I think I told you yesterday, I just ran a simulation over the weekend. The interest rate for the person went from 2.4% to 0.8% effective APR. 2.4 to 0.8 effective APR. He's going to take the 27 years that he has remaining on his loan and cut that down to 3.8. And oh, by the way, he's going to have an extra $100,000 of liquidity. So one of the things that we do as a liability advisor is we're looking at safety, liquidity, and return. We want to understand the safety, the liquidity, and the return that you're going to get in real estate. Now, there's a couple of people that in areas that they never, ever get to the safety, liquidity, and return portion of the consultation, because your property and your investment, when you have no mortgage or a very low mortgage, is not nearly as safe as when you've got a high mortgage. Why would that be? Well, it's pretty simple, because in case of a default, banks are looking at how much equity they have, how much can they come after you for. In the case of a default, if you don't have a lot of equity in the property, if you've pulled that out and put it into safe, secure investments or CDs or treasuries, well, that makes it more safe for you. When you have a low balance on your mortgage, that's a safety benefit for the lender. Liquidity. Banks never lend money to people who need money. They lend money to people who want money. Big difference right there. So if you've got the Home Select, you're very, very liquid. If you've got a HELOC or a HELoan, very, very liquid. If you've got a mortgage at 75 or 80% of the value of the property, and you've taken that money out and put it into some of the safe, secure investments that are out there, you're liquid. And return. What is the return on investment of home equity? Zero. If you've got a $500,000 property in Southern California and it appreciates at 5%, and I know you're not going to find a lot of $500,000 properties, but they're going to appreciate more than 5%, most of them. They're going to appreciate $25,000 a year. Now, does it matter if you've got mortgage for 100% or if you've got no mortgage? No, 5% of the value of the property is still 5%. So if you can take the money out and put it into and I'm not giving any advice here, but put it into a safe, secure investment, maybe an index, an IUL, Index Universal Life Plan, that has protection on the downside, limits on the upside. Last 30 years averages about 8% return. Wow, think about that. Now you've taken money out of that property that had a 0 rate of return, and you're going to get an 8% rate of return. You're going to have an effective interest rate very low in a tax-advantaged environment, and you're going to have a rate of return on the investment that's high in a tax-advantaged environment, and you make more money. Just throw that out there for you. That's Borrow Smart, brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, I think we've got a question of the day that I forgot to do earlier, and we're going to talk about how to determine if you're ready to buy a home and ways a car loan can increase your credit score. All that and more. Reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference in the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
We're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. How to determine if you're ready to buy a home. Let's see. If you're trying to decide if you're ready to buy a home, there's probably a lot on your mind. You're thinking about your finances, today's mortgage rates, and home prices, the limited supply of homes for sale, and more. And you're juggling how all of these things will impact the choice you'll make. While housing market conditions are definitely a factor in your decision, your own personal situation and your finances matter too. As an article from NerdWallet says, housing market trends give important context, but whether this is a good time to buy a house also depends on your financial situation, life goals, and readiness to become a homeowner, unquote. Instead of trying to time the market, focus on what you can control. Here are a few questions that can give you clarity on whether you're ready to make your move. Number one, do you have a stable job? One thing to consider is how stable you feel your employment is. Buying a home is a big purchase, and you're going to sign a home loan stating you'll pay that loan back. That's a big commitment. Knowing you have a reliable job and a steady stream of income coming in can help put your mind at ease when making such large purchase. Number two, have you figured out what you can afford? If you have reliable paychecks coming in, the next thing to figure out is what you can afford. That'll depend on your spending habits, debt, and more to be sure you have a good idea of what to expect from a numbers perspective. Start by giving us a call at 800-306-1990 or grab the mobile app, RonIsMyLender.com. RonIsMyLender.com. You can take a look at the mortgage insurance calculator, and you want to keep your cost of your house, principal and interest, to about 35 to 40% of whatever your gross income is. That's before taxes. Now, I'm just told you when you put it in the calculator, that's going to give you a principal and interest payment, 35 to 40%, because we know we still have to add taxes, insurance, if we have homeowners association, if we have mortgage insurance. So we need to leave a little buffer in there for that. So that's the second one. Have you figured out how much you can afford? Do you have an emergency fund? Another key factor is whether you'll have enough cash left over in case of an emergency. Well, that's not fun to think about. It's an important thing to consider. You don't want to overextend on the house and then not be able to weather a storm if one comes along. As CNET says, quote, you want to have a financial cushion that can cover several months of living expenses, including mortgage payments, in case of unforeseen circumstances such as job loss or medical emergencies, unquote. On a side note, because I do digress every once in a while, rsrhomeselect.com, in many instances, that will help you in case of a job loss. Just throwing that out there for you. If you're looking to sell and move again in a year, it might not make sense to buy right now, as Lawrence Yun, chief economist at National Association of Realtors, explains, quote, 5 years is a good, comfortable mark. If the price of your home appreciates considerably, then even 3 years would be fine, unquote. So think about your future. If you plan to transfer to a new city with the upcoming promotion you're working toward, or you anticipate your loved ones will need you to move closer to take care of them, that's something to factor in. Number 5. Above all else, the most important question to answer is, do you have a team of real estate professionals in place? If not, finding a trusted local agent and lender is a good first step. The pros can talk you through their options and help you decide if you're ready to take the plunge or if you have a few more things to get in order first. Bottom line, if you want to have a conversation about all things you need to consider to determine if you're ready to buy, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Always happy to have a chat and see what makes sense for you. Believe it or not, more often than not, we find that people are ready far sooner than they think they are. Just throw that out there for you. Real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So let's talk about a little bit more about some of those things, because one of the things that I'm finding, especially in our Borrow Smart conversations, is I am finding a lot of folks that they're out there and they haven't, they're not watching what's going on. They're not ready for the unexpected. And one of the unexpected, we're seeing right now a lot of areas where people are struggling and suffering and worried about job loss. And that's a tough one. And it's not an easy way to live, but one of the things that we've come across, and not that, there's probably some people that wouldn't even like me to say this, but I do anyway. I don't care. Because I'm looking out for you, is, does it make sense to look into having either one of two things? You should either have a home equity line of credit, or you should be looking into getting the Home Select. If you qualify, the Home Select is the best option for you, because if you lose a job, if you become incapacitated, can't work, I just chatted with somebody just the other day, and we were actually talking about the concept of maternity leave, because they get their company, or they get paid 60% of their salary for their maternity leave. Okay, 60%. What are you going to do? You've been living off of 100% of your salary, and now you're only getting 60. What are you going to do with? How are you going to cover that shortfall? Well, had you gone and taken care of getting the Home Select, you wouldn't be worrying about it, because number one, your property is paid off in 8 to 10 years generally. I can't say that always, because nothing is a forever. But for the most part, we find that people's homes are paid off in 8 to 10 years. I've told you about one that was 3.8. I told you there was another I did a simulation on that was like one a year. So the bottom line is these things happen all the time where people are getting paid off quickly. But because, like I shared with you when we were talking in the Borrow Smart segment, the issue becomes not one of paying off the loan and then not having a loan. The issue then becomes, hey, can I have the liquidity? What if I don't find a job for a year? What if I have to get retrained? Well, that happens. What we want to find out is, how do we deal with that? How do we make sure that if you lose your job, if you don't have a job for a year, what are we going to do then? Well, the Home Select takes care of that, because you've built up so much equity so fast, you're going to end up having a cushion, because the Home Select, you keep the liquidity. When you keep that liquidity, well, you're far better off. You're far ahead of the game, because you could just write a check out of it. There's no mandatory payment. The interest gets added to at the end of the month, or I think it's the 25th of the month. The interest gets added to the balance, and you don't have to worry about it. So another plug for the Home Select product. And I don't like to plug a lot of products on Ron Siegel Radio, but I like to show you ways as a liability advisor how I can help protect you, save you from what's going on. Just throw that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, ways a car loan can increase your credit score and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by RSRHomeselect.com, RSRHomeselect.com. Ways a car loan can increase your credit score. Car loan can potentially increase your credit score by diversifying your credit mix and demonstrating responsible repayment behavior, such as making timely monthly payments over the loan term. However, it's important to manage the loan responsibly to avoid negative impacts on your credit score, such as missed payments or excessive debt relative to your income. In January 2024, the average cost of a new vehicle exceeded $47,000. $47,000. Wow. Ow! Yeah, that's what I thought. Most consumers have much less than $47,000 saved, making auto loans an important type of credit. Before you apply for this type of loan, however, you'll likely want to understand its potential impact on your credit profile. So, do auto loans build credit? It depends on how you manage your account. Some people benefit greatly from taking out auto loans, while others hurt their credit with irresponsible behavior. Discover how to use an auto loan to improve your credit score. Auto loans. An overview. If you don't have enough cash to purchase a vehicle, You can take out an auto loan, which is a type of installment loan. Installment loans have fixed monthly payments, making them fairly easy to manage. All you have to do is make your payment as scheduled. There's no need to track variable interest rates or calculate a new payment amount every month. When you apply for an auto loan, the lender checks your credit profile to determine if you're likely to repay the money you borrow. This can add a hard inquiry to your credit report. Some lenders report to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, while others report to just one of these credit bureaus. Personal loans, student loans, and mortgages are also classified as installment loans. Get matched with a personal loan that's right for you today. Do car payments build credit? Taking out a car loan can affect your credit in several different ways. As mentioned previously, a hard inquiry appears on your credit report every time a lender checks your credit history to determine whether to approve or deny a credit application. A new inquiry may cause your credit to take a small hit, but it should rebound if you maintain a history of responsible credit usage. Consumers run into problems when they can't make their car payments on time. If you're a few days late on a payment, the lender may charge a late fee once a payment is 30 days late. However, the lender can report it to the credit bureaus. Having a 30-day late payment may decrease your score more significantly, especially if you had excellent credit before the missed payments. If you continue to miss payments, your score will drop even more, making it difficult to qualify for loans and credit cards. On the other hand, when you get an auto loan, your payment history will be reported to the credit bureaus. Because your payment history makes up a large portion of your credit score, as you consistently make payments on time, your credit health will likely improve. So if you manage your car loan responsibly, it can be great for your credit. In addition, by getting an installment loan to finance the purchases of a new car, you can add to the installment category of your credit mix. And the more diverse your credit mix is, the better it is for your credit. This is because lenders notice that people who are more reliable in paying multiple different types of accounts are less likely to default on their debts. What you need to know about credit scores: lenders rely on multiple scoring models to determine if they should approve your loan and approve your credit application. As a result, some people find credit scores a little confusing. Here's what you need to know to build a strong credit profile. What factors are used to calculate credit scores? Well, we know that the payment history is about 35%. How you pay your bills is about 35% of your FICO score. The amount you owe, that's utilization. That's about 30%. Pay your bills the right way. rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Pay them the right way. Length of credit. The length of credit history is based on your average age of accounts, the age of your oldest account and the age of your newest account. Although you don't need a lengthy credit history to achieve good credit, it can definitely help. Long history of using credit wisely may give lenders more confidence in your ability to make loan payments on time. The credit mix. This is how many mortgages and installment loans and credit cards you have. The credit mix refers to the different types of accounts in your credit profile. Some lenders want to see that you have experience managing auto loans, credit cards, and other types of credit before they approve your application. Fortunately, you can still build credit with a single auto loan. And new credit, this is the smallest of the categories, 10%. And it's the one that people know, so they ask about it most frequently. This is new credit. These are the inquiries, the hard inquiries. So what is a good credit score? Some lenders issue auto loans to consumers with poor credit, but many companies want to see good or excellent scores before they'll loan you money to buy a vehicle. In that case, it's important to know what a good score is. FICO scores range from 300 to 850. The closer you are to 850, the more likely it is you'll qualify for loans and other types of credit. However, a good score generally ranges from 670 to 739. If your score is even higher, you might get a better interest rate. What are some ways to improve your credit? On-time payments. Avoid taking on too much debt. Pay down your existing balances. And this one's counterintuitive, but request a credit limit increase. If there are errors on your report, dispute them the right way. Haven't looked at a report lately? Cleanall3.com, cleanall3.com, and you can take a look at your credit report with real FICO scores. And no, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, those are not FICO scores. Those are credit scores. And even some of the banks that give you FICO scores, if you see that they're using FICO Model 8, probably not going to do any good for a mortgage. So can an auto loan help build credit? Yeah, it can really help build credit. And we talk about that now. Be aware that sometimes if you have an auto loan and when you pay it off, if you don't have something replacing it, you might see a dip in your credit score at that point. Just throw that out there for you so you have an idea of what's going on. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.